Which royal do you think is the biggest diva?
Well, is Meghan a royal? I don't know. Discuss. Anyway, I think historically, probably Princess Margaret was a real diva. And I'm afraid to say I do think that Meghan had some diva qualities.
Does diva have to be female? I was thinking maybe Andrew.
I don't know, I always think of diva. It sounds female, doesn't it? Maybe it would be divum if it was a man.
OK, all right.
I did Latin A-level.
There we go. If you could swap lives with one member of the royal family for a day, who would it be and what would you do?
Oh my goodness me! I think I'd swap. I would volunteer to swap roles with William to give him a break, so that he could just have a nice rest with his family. And yeah, I think I might do that.
OK, final question. I don't know how to pronounce this word actually. It may be a north-south divide, but which royal family member do you think would win a game of charades? Charades?
Charades.
Is it charades? Charades.
I call it charades. I think Charles would actually. He was very keen on dramatics, amateur dramatics, and was quite a good actor at Gordonstoun and at university. And he's quite funny. I think he can take off the goons and people like that very well. So I think he gets that from his mum, actually, because she was a good mimic too.
Do they play any parlour games, do you think, at things like Balmoral and stuff
yes,
like
I think
that?
they do.
They do,
yes,
don't they?
yes, I think they do. They used to be very, very keen on card games, something demon. They used to play a lot. I'm not sure the younger generation play card games, but I just think charades probably comes out.
Yeah, I can imagine that with Charles and Anne and all the rest. Who was the best royal you have had dinner or a drink with, or met, and what did they tell you? Anything interesting?
Well, that's got to be... Best is a funny word, but probably the most delightful was Diana. And what did she tell me? Practically everything, to my astonishment.
Lovely. Who do you think is the best dressed royal?
Best dressed, I think probably Catherine is amazing. Do you remember that gold outfit she wore to, was it James Bond premiere or something? Yeah. Absolutely amazing, but very closely matched, I think, by Camilla, looking stunning these days.
Interesting. I think Prince Charles is a snappy dresser.
I do.
I like his suits. I like his jackets.
Yeah,
I think he looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he likes the pocket handkerchief.
Who do you think is the laziest and who is the most hard-working?
The laziest probably was Andrew, and the most hardworking, undoubtedly, is who do you think I'm going to say?
I know you're going to say
the Princess Royal.
Yeah, Princess Anne.
Yeah. I mean, she's astonishing, absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, she just she doesn't take us along with her. She just goes and does it. She doesn't do it for exposure.
Nope. She's quite difficult to work with, but she gets it done.
Now, your career, you weren't just the face of royal news for the BBC for so many years, and obviously presenting, the 6 o'clock news.
Oh, yeah, and the 1 o'clock news.
And the 1 o'clock news.
The Today programme.
But for many viewers, they would remember you from I'm a Celebrity, which meant that you had to go to the jungle in Australia and take part in some very entertaining, can I say entertaining?
Yeah,
but
highly
also,
entertaining.
quite disgusting tasks. But you were on I'm a Celebrity in 2004, one of the earlier shows. Can I ask you a few questions about how you think members of the royal family would get on? Because Mike Tyndall went on. Mike Tyndall did go on, didn't he?
He did, yes.
Who do you think would most succeed, of the current royals, who do you think would most succeed if they went to the jungle?
I think that Anne probably would be very good because she just gets on with the job, doesn't she? The Princess Royal. So I think she would, rather like me, if you're buried in a coffin full of rats for 10 minutes, you're buried in a coffin full of rats. Get on with it,
Who do you think would get the most public votes if the whole royal family were there? Who do you think would most?
I think Catherine would. I think she'd do well. She's sporty, she's game, she takes on all sorts of challenges, or she has when she's well, but she's also very popular.
Yeah, she'd be brilliant. She would actually probably win.
Yeah.
Who do you think would get the most votes from the public to do a task?
Oh, to do a task?
Yeah.
Or to be evicted? Well, I think Andrew probably. I think, yes. I think that's probably why I was voted very early on to be buried in a coffin full of rats, because people thought, oh, yeah, she's that, moody old cow, that posh old cow who stands outside Buck House, And so they put me in a coffin full of rats, but actually it turned out OK for me in the end.
Well, you came runners-up. You were a runner-up.
I was the runner-up, and I had a lovely time.
That's good enough. Because obviously there's things like eating kangaroo testicles and stuff like that. Could you imagine would any member of the royal family go on I'm a Celebrity and succeed in that kind of task?
Who would eat kangaroo testicles? Who would the public like to eat? Probably Andrew. Who would actually succeed in getting them down? We've had Mike Tindall. He's proved he could. I think probably Edward would come into his own on something like that. He'd get on with it.
Well, they did It's a Royal Knockout. Do you remember It's a Royal Knockout?
Yes, I do. Yes, he'd want to do better than that went down. Yeah.
Well, let's get back onto the proper reason you're here, the royal family. The career span that you worked, there was obviously huge news events, like there are now. You know, every kind of era has its huge news events. Which one in particular kind of jumps out as you as something that you talk to your grandchildren about, or if someone was to ask you down the pub, you know, what is your biggest memory of being there on the front line reporting on the royals?
You're right. There are so many. I think it's the D's really. It's Diana, divorces, disasters, and deaths. All of those were major news stories. The biggest year was undoubtedly Annus Horribilis. 1992. That was staggering. I'm not quite sure how any of us got through. Very briefly, I will remind you of 1992. It began with the general election campaign, during which the royals are meant to stay very low profile. But suddenly I was on the Kinnock campaign bus because I was still doing general reporting. And I was summoned back suddenly because the office said, oh my God, there's a story, they're separating. Oh God, Charles and Diana are separating. No, it was Fergie and Andrew. Well, that was a surprise. So I'm standing outside Buckingham Palace reporting on the separation of Andrew and Fergie. Get over that, and then off we go to India, Taj Mahal. Remember the Taj Mahal? Charles and Diana. Diana sits in front of this monument to love by herself. And as she comes out, we ask her, ma'am, what did you think of it? Oh, it was so healing, so healing. What did that mean? So we asked the palace press secretary, Dickie Arbiter, you know, is the marriage in trouble? Oh, no. Everybody has ups and downs. It's fine. I mean, you know, complete rubbish. And then we trundle along to June. I'm out buying a bed, actually, with my husband and my little girl, when suddenly another phone call. Jen, it's the Sunday Times. They've got an exclusive. Diana's said she threw herself down the stairs. She's cut her wrist. It was the Andrew Morton book. Big drama on that. Get through to August, think, oh, God, have a bit of a rest. Jen, we need you in. Fergie, she's been found topless, having her toes sucked by a financial advisor. It just went on to November the 20th when Windsor Castle caught fire. Then the row about the Queen paying taxes, who's going to pay for Windsor Castle fire damage, and then Charles and Diana separate. Hallelujah, the end of the year.
Well, I'm out of breath just listening to you.